Hi, my name is Andrew Tran, and I will be talking about impulse. So, when Ignite emailed me about topics, I decided to write impulse without thinking. Then I procrastinated on it, and I looked at the email today, and it told me to turn in the slides yesterday. So, how many times has this happened to you? You're browsing on Amazon, you're looking at stuff that you may want to buy, and then you see something, and you're like, ooh, I kind of want that. And it also doesn't look that expensive, so you add it to your cart, and then you look around. The price seems bearable. Look at these cool stats. So you add this thing, and then you look for something else, and then before you know it, you bought like 20 things and signed up for Prime again for the third time this month. Or you come home, you're super hungry, but you're also really lazy, so you don't really want to cook, and there's like a bunch of ice cream in the freezer, so you just break that out. And you tell yourself, maybe I should only eat a little, and then you end up eating half the tub. When what you really should have been doing was actually bothering to whip out some vegetables, actually cook, actually eat something that you won't regret the next morning when you realize, why do I not feel so good? And why can't I get out of bed? Or when you see a nice little guide dog walking around trying to do its job, so you forget that it's trying to do its job, then you try to touch it, and then it panics, and then the poor blind person that the dog was leading around also panics. Or when you see some cute pictures of dogs, so you decide, why don't I get a pet? Only to realize that your apartment doesn't allow pets, and you also don't know how to take care of dogs. So these are the kind of impulses that we probably shouldn't be listening to. So make like Bruno Mars and stop. Wait a minute. We've all heard about impulse control, where it's pretty much stopping yourself from doing things that you think would be good for you in the short term, so that you get more benefits, or you just avoid doing stupid things in the long term that set you back. But why is it? Why is it that our expanding brains are so bad at figuring out how to control ourselves? We're smart people. We should have gotten this solved like decades ago, at least. Maybe it has something to do with the lizard brain inside of us, that thing that's just in charge of emotions, reflex, really primitive survival instincts. I thought this was pretty funny. In fact, there's been so much talk about psychology, like our good friend, this is only a cigar, Sigmund Freud, where he said that most people are powered by either aggressive death impulses or generative life impulses, where up at the top we have our normal ego and our super ego that should tell us that you probably shouldn't be doing this because it's a bad thing to do, but deep under the surface there's that nasty id. That's not to say that you should just stop yourself from doing everything. There are some times where you really need to just do it to not just let your dreams be dreams. But there's a lot of virtue in trying to figure out when is the proper time to do it. This was not the best time to do it. Not doing this probably would have saved us a lot of time in the rest of the movie. So you need to think very hard, and for some of the more negative impulses, you should probably push directly from solid to gas and sublimate those urges into positive opinions and actions. Alternatively, you should also explore what could go wrong and take calculated risks. It's okay to not know exactly what you're doing, but trying to minimize the amount of bad things that could happen is a great way to take risks on something. Because you really can't tell, you can't control everything, but you can try to control what might go wrong, just a little. Maybe things will be going really bad. So hopefully, ideally, you shouldn't be walking around life like signing end user license agreements without knowing what they're doing. Yeah, I'm guilty of this. I should probably read those more often. Because at the end of the day, you shouldn't be scared to follow random impulses. They can sometimes be the best things ever. But think about it a little. Throw out some lines. Don't fish for compliments.